I'm Laine. You can call me Laine. That's
Laine.
fine. Otherwise, it's Laine.
Laine. So I'm right now on Skype video with Catherine Laine. She is right now on the ground in Haiti. I feel so honored to be talking to you today because it's been so difficult to obviously get in touch with everyone there.
Exactly. No, absolutely. We've been really lucky, and it's quite amazing that we've been able to have internet access all through the crisis. I think it goes to show what a great technology WiMAX is, for one thing. The major cell phone carriers, Digicel and Voila, have had a lot of trouble. I think if you remember right after 9/11 and how hard it was to get in touch with people in New York, it's the same kind of issue. Everyone's trying to call at one time to find out what's happening with their friends and family, and all the lines have been totally busy and congested. Right now, I know the Digicel and Voila engineers must be working around the clock to improve communications, and just now we've been able to get people calling back. I had my first call from my folks back home. I was able to call my brother and his wife and find out how my cousin Mark and other relatives who are in the capital are doing. So,
And what was that like?
but it's amazing that I've been able to Skype
Yeah.
with my husband. So that's at least been very good, and satellite phone.
So what was that like, that first call with your family?
A bit of a shock. You hear the phone ring and you're like, what? So the outside world, I can contact people again. People can find out. It's good. A lot of our staff, though, here are still waiting to hear about how their family and friends are doing. We think since Port-au-Prince is the largest city in Haiti, so many people have friends and family there. And so now people are just on tenterhooks trying to wait and hear for any kind of news. And it's only coming in drips and drabs, like one person at a time. Such and such is okay, such and such has died. For example, one of our staff members, he just found out that all his family's okay, but a huge amount of his neighbors are all dead. So it's incredible, like, yeah.
Where were you exactly when the earthquake happened?
I was at the office, I was doing work, and, I'm originally from Southern California and New York, so the first few minutes, I'm like, we're having an earthquake. And so everyone gets down, you go in under the door jams like you're supposed to do, or you go outside, and it was with a feeling of, like, I remember I used to live when I was in California when I was a kid, and the Loma Prieta earthquake hit. I was like, all right, this is a pretty strong earthquake. I'm feeling it here. Thought everything was fine. Went up on the news and saw CNN and how the complete and utter devastation that happened in the capital. It's unbelievable. Especially what's sadder, if anything could be sadder, was this year was such a year where people were filled with so much hope about Haiti. Like, there was just a meeting of the Inter-American Development Group with Bill Clinton coming down, talking about business investment in Haiti. Comfort Inn just announced that they were opening their first hotel chain that they have in a while in Jacmel. Things were getting better, the stability was getting better, and as soon as there's a glimmer of hope, it gets hit again with this huge, unbelievable catastrophe.
So where were you located exactly, though? And you're there working right now, am I right?
I am there working.
Oh, I lost you right there. The audio, for some reason, cut out. So for all those watching right now, the signal is very spotty, obviously. So we got disconnected, but we were continuing this. I was asking Catherine where exactly she was when the earthquake hit, and she's right now working there, am I right?
Yes, exactly. So I was at our offices. Right now I was here because we were ready to launch our second annual business plan competition to look for businesses that, work in renewable energy, sanitation, and clean water. And so I'm working on, getting that launch ready to go. And then the earthquake hit, and so I was just at our offices at the time.
And that's outside of the main area, though.
So we're very far away from the capital. So if you got out of a map of Haiti, we're in Cap Haitien, which is far to the north. It's a port right in the north of the country. So by drive, we're 5 hours away.
So, but you still felt the earthquake?
Absolutely. It was very strong. We felt it very strong here. And being from California, I'm used to earthquakes, so it definitely was quite a powerful earthquake.
So what was the initial reaction right when that happened? Did you realize the devastation?
Not at all. Like, earthquakes, you're like, oh wow, we experienced some tremors. And it wasn't until we went upstairs and took a look at the news and saw, the news coming in from CNN, Wolf Blitzer telling the story, talking to Wyclef about what was happening, that we really understood just the magnitude of what had happened.
What's the energy like there right now? What's going on?
People are sad. Because you can imagine so many people have family and friends and they have no news of them. And so people are really upset and sad and scared, and people are having trouble sleeping. You can imagine if you, with a disaster like this, not having news for days and days and not being able to call, people are really terrified.
Are people checking out the news constantly? Are they able to connect?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, it was interesting. Like in all the hotels, there's a couple of radio, television stations that are piping in any kind of news. So when CNN's talking about Haiti, they'll show CNN. When it's Euro News, they'll show Euro News in Europe. When it's French news, they'll switch over to French news. So we're getting a continuous feed of news and information, and also the various radio stations are playing the audio of news stations as well. So the information is flowing via television, via radio, and also luckily via the internet. The one communication pathway that's been really cut off has been cell phones and telephones.
And so have you been getting together with friends? Like, has life kind of stopped at this point?
In here where we are, not so much, because we haven't sustained any damage. A lot of businesses are closed, particularly the banks. One thing that people need to understand is in Haiti, like in a lot of developing countries, so much of the financial, commercial, and governmental infrastructure in the country is like centralized in the capital. So when you have a major disaster in the capital, everything stops. And so, like, for instance, we were trying to get to the bank to, like, take out money so that we had extra cash, so if there's any other things that we need to buy. But the banks are going to be closed for days, and they don't have communications with the capital. So the movement of money, or in a couple of days, people are expecting the movement of, let's say, gas or other resources and commodities to other parts of the country are really going to be impaired.
So you obviously have experience working with developing countries and being on the ground there. What is the next step in all of this?
Say again? I missed that a little bit.
What's the next step in all of this, considering your background with working with developing countries?
Well, we have been really fortunate right now. We're kind of setting up partnerships with other nonprofits we've had experience. So Partners in Health, one of my favorite charities, they're on the ground now in the capital doing medical work, which is what they do. But they're also trying to get civil engineers to volunteer to come and do risk assessments of buildings. So because we do engineering and business development, we have a lot of civil engineers who are looking to volunteer. And so we're trying to coordinate the volunteer civil engineers to come down and be able to travel down to Port-au-Prince and help them with the assessments that they need. We're also changing a lot of the focus of the business climate competition that we're going to be doing to be focusing on Haiti reconstruite, so like the rebuilding Haiti. And so we're partnering with Architecture for Humanity, which has a lot of experience with these post-disaster situations, to try to think about ways that we can mobilize the business community, who's going to be really integral to the reconstruction effort, into getting ideas about renewable energy, sanitation, clean water, and with the help of Architecture for Humanity, disaster-proof housing. Because what I think this disaster and the previous disaster from last year, where you had 4 hurricanes hitting in a row in towns like Gonaïves and Cabaret, etc., is that Haiti is incredibly vulnerable. And what it needs is mechanisms to become more resilient and resistant to disasters. And so those are a couple of the partnerships that we're working with. And a third one that we've been really fortunate, so recently we were at the Clinton Global Initiative, and I think the end of September, and we partnered with a stove design group from India called Pratki Design, and that we're working with them to get a shipment of 200 cleaner burning stoves down to Port-au-Prince, and there's going to be some manufacture and fab there, because a shop that they had found that we're going to work with has been unscathed, and so we're going to be able to work with them to be able to distribute that so people have a way of cooking.
Wow,
that's kind of kind of what's going on right now.
So now we got in touch through Twitter. Has that been social networks? Has that been essential to you being there right now and somewhat disconnected from the rest of the world?
Well, I think for me, a lot of more Facebook, and there's also this newsletter group that's out of Webster University. It's called Corvette's List. Yeah. And I'm getting a lot of information and updates from them, and I'm trying to post as many of that information on Twitter as I go through it. Facebook has been the thing that's allowed me to get in touch with a lot of friends, and I'm getting constant messages of like, I just heard the news, are you guys okay? Who can I give to? You know, what can I do? And you're hearing a lot of people ask what they can do. I think if I was going to give advice right now for what people can do, yes. People need to think about whenever you get a disaster like this, you need to think about that recovery is a long-term process. Mm-hmm. So you need to give a gift now, because the things that people need are they need medical help, they need food, they need shelter, they need water, like the basic, Maslow pyramid of needs. Like they need those basic needs met. But later, when the reconstruction effort happens, NGOs are going to need a lot of cash there, and the story's not going to be in the headlines anymore, but like in 6 months' time, put it in your GCal. Like, you need to give another gift. And then a year later, because reconstruction is always hard, always takes longer than you think it's going to take, people should give a third gift, or fourth, or fifth, whatever they can do, even $5. Yale's been raising millions of dollars, $5 at a time, anything they can give. But they really need to think about their giving strategy as like over a longer arc.
Well, thank you so much, Catherine. I so appreciate being able to get in touch with you, you taking your time to talk to me considering the circumstances, and we're really, all of us are thinking about all of you out there.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm happy to help get the word out about what's happening down here.